Instructor Velcro's chitinous plates clicked together in what the other species had learned to recognize as anticipation. The Galactic Defense Academy's Applied Weaponry course had reached its most anticipated segment, the practical demonstration. Students from 47 different species filled the amphitheater-style classroom, each eager to showcase their people's martial prowess. Today, Velcro announced, her translator rendering her clicks into standardized galactic common. You will demonstrate a weapon native to your homeworld. Creativity and effectiveness will be assessed. Who wishes to begin? A Thoraxian stepped forward first, its 6 arms producing a plasma-edged glaive that hummed with lethal energy. The demonstration was efficient, brutal, and left scorch marks on the reinforced demonstration platform. Approving murmurs rippled through the classroom. Next came a Eulith who deployed a gravitational disruptor that could crush targets from 30 meters away. Then oppression with acid projectors. Each species presented weapons that reflected hundreds of thousands of years of evolutionary warfare, bioengineered, technologically advanced, devastatingly efficient. Marcus Chen sat in the back row, watching with growing unease. The human contingent at the academy was small, only 5 students in a school of thousands. Humanity had only joined the galactic community 8 months ago, and their presence here was part of the integration program. Marcus had volunteered, eager to represent his species. He had not volunteered to be humiliated. Human. Velcro's eye stalk swiveled toward him. You have been notably silent. Do humans not possess weapons? The question drew scattered laughter from the assembled students. Everyone knew about humans. The newcomers. The primitives who had barely achieved faster-than-light travel. The species whose homeworld was still recovering from self-inflicted environmental damage. Marcus stood, his heart hammering. We have weapons, Instructor. Then demonstrate. I didn't bring one. More laughter, louder this time. A Drazen student in the front row made a sound that the translator interpreted as a derisive snort. Typical human inadequacy, it muttered, just loud enough to be heard. Velcro's plates clicked in what might have been disappointment. Then you forfeit. But I can make one, Marcus interrupted. The room fell silent. Velcro's eye stalks angled toward him with renewed interest. Make one? From what materials? Marcus surveyed the classroom. Composite desks, polymer chairs, flexible data cables, emergency equipment cabinets. His mind raced through possibilities, filtering through thousands of years of human ingenuity born from necessity. From what's available, he said simply. You have 10 minutes, Velcro declared. Proceed. Marcus moved quickly. He flipped over one of the polymer chairs, examining its construction. The legs were hollow but reinforced, flexible yet strong. With a sharp twist and leveraging his full body weight, he snapped one of the longer legs free. The composite material was excellent, lightweight with natural spring. Next, he moved to the emergency cabinet. Inside, he found exactly what he needed, a coil of high-tensile synthetic cord designed for emergency repelling. He cut a length with his multi-tool, testing its strength. Perfect. The classroom watched in confused silence as Marcus worked. He notched both ends of the chair leg, carved a subtle curve into the natural flex point of the material, and began stringing the cord. His hands moved with practiced precision. His grandfather had taught him traditional archery as a child, and those lessons came flooding back now. What is the human doing? A Zeltran whispered to its neighbor. I believe it is attempting to craft something primitive, came the uncertain reply. Marcus ignored them. He reinforced the grip area with strips torn from the desk's cushioning material, providing better traction. For arrows, he used the remaining chair legs, straightening them over his knee and notching their ends. The demonstration platform had been scorched by the Thoraxians. Glaive? Marcus scraped the carbonized residue and used it to fletch crude but functional flights onto his projectiles using adhesive from the data cable. Insulation, 6 minutes had elapsed. Time, Velcro announced. Marcus stepped onto the demonstration platform, his improvised bow held loosely at his side. It looked absurd next to the high-tech weaponry that had been displayed earlier, a bent piece of furniture held together with cord and improvisation. That is your weapon? A student called out. A stick with string? Marcus knocked one of his makeshift arrows. This is a bow, he said quietly. Humans invented it approximately 64,000 years ago. We used it to hunt, to defend ourselves, and to conquer continents. Before we had metallurgy, before we had agriculture, before we had written language. He drew the string back, feeling the familiar tension. The improvised weapon held. We made it from wood and sinew and stone. We made it in forests and deserts and tundra. We made it with whatever we could find. He aimed at the target dummy across the demonstration floor, a ballistic gel form designed to withstand plasma fire. Because humans don't need advanced technology to be dangerous, Instructor. We just need a problem to solve. He released. The arrow flew true, covering the 30-meter distance in a fraction of a second. It punched through the ballistic gel with enough force to exit the other side, embedding itself in the reinforced wall behind it with a solid thunk that echoed through the suddenly silent amphitheater. Marcus knocked a second arrow, drew, and fired in one fluid motion. Then a third. Each one found its mark, clustering within a hand's width of each other. The rate of fire was slower than the plasma weapons and less powerful than the gravitational disruptors, but it was utterly silent, and it required no power source, and it had been created from garbage in 6 minutes. Velcra's plates clicked rapidly. A sound the class had learned meant deep thought. Fascinating, she said slowly. The projectile velocity is impressive given the construction. The accuracy is exceptional. But this is a primitive weapon, Human Chen. Surely you understand that modern armor would render it obsolete. Marcus lowered the bow. Maybe, he admitted. But that's not really the point, is it? Explain. Every weapon here today was brought from home, perfected over millennia, optimized, but they all require specific materials, specific conditions, specific support systems. He held up his improvised bow. This is what humans do, Instructor. We adapt, we improvise. We take whatever we can find and we make it work. Put me on a ship with no weapons and I'll make one. Strand me on a planet with nothing and I'll survive. Because this, he gestured to the bow, this isn't about the weapon. It's about the mindset. The classroom remained silent. In our history, we didn't wait for evolution to give us claws or venom or armor plates. We looked at the world around us and asked, how can I use this? How can I make this better? How can I turn this rock, this stick, this piece of bone into something that gives me an edge? Marcus met Velcra's eye stalk steadily. That's what makes humans dangerous. Not our technology, not our weapons, our creativity, our refusal to accept limitations. Velcra's plates clicked once, twice, then settled into a rhythm that sounded almost like appreciation. Class, she announced. The human has provided today's most valuable lesson. Advanced weaponry will fail. Technology will malfunction. Resources will be depleted. She gestured to Marcus. But a species that can turn classroom furniture into a lethal weapon in 6 minutes? That species will find a way to survive. The Drazen student who had mocked Marcus earlier sat very still, its expression unreadable. As Marcus returned to his seat, several students nodded to him with what looked like newfound respect. One, a Karathi whose species had been spacefaring for 3,000 years, leaned over and whispered, "Your people are terrifying, Human." Marcus smiled slightly. "Yeah," he said. "We know." Outside the classroom windows, the stars wheeled in their ancient patterns, indifferent to the species that traversed them. But somewhere in that vast darkness, humanity's message was becoming clear. Underestimate the humans at your own risk. They might not have the best weapons or the most advanced technology, but they had something perhaps more valuable: the ability to make weapons from furniture, starships from salvage, and victory from impossible odds. Because that's what humans did, they made it work.